Wait, Abba, have you guys made any statements on the on the Andrew Tate shit yet? Oh no.
Based on what I've read up on and anything I've seen, I think he's guilty.
If I had to put money on it, 100%. Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah.
Now, but obviously,
I just don't believe in the idea of like a pimp who doesn't hit his women. Like I don't buy it. Also reviewing a lot of the stuff that's been coming out from the various stuff. He actually was out here like DMing like 16-year-old like politicians' daughters. Like I was surprised by some stuff that was coming.
Wait, real quick. You're 100%. That's like a confirmed. He actually was.
Yeah.
Or is that like allegedly?
Multiple Romanian sources pulled that up. So
okay, gotcha.
So look, I didn't see the DMs myself. I can't confirm or deny. I don't probably think he was trying to go after underage women. Don't make a mistake. What I think is that's how they recruited a lot of these young girls, and some of them just happened to be underage as a result.
Oh, sure.
But yeah, I don't know. To me, the whole thing, reading up on the prosecutor and the one who's kind of starting this thing, and then learning about the business and then seeing some of the old quotes and some of the stuff, even the course that he ran and like how...
Dude, that shit... You want to talk about...
The fact that people glossed over that blew my mind.
You want to talk about self-snitching?
100% pimping. He was pimping.
Oh my God, dude. That was some of the biggest self-snitch shit I've ever seen in my life. Like, if you're an Andrew Tate hater and you come across that treasure trove of videos, you're eating well that night. Like, oh, so here's how I defrauded them on their taxes when they're not, they don't know anything, so I just rip them off and shit. I'm like, oh my God, what the It's like just so blatant. Holy shit.
He deleted it for a reason. He deleted those portions for a specific reason.
Jesus.
That's not an accident. And if you know anything about pimping, this idea of some kind of ethical pimp is hilarious to me. Okay? This idea that you're going to hold these women down and you treat them as property and you never going to put your hands on them, I just do not believe that. Because I think dudes are thinking about this in a normal dating context. Oh, they fell in love with me. And then I asked. That's not what pimping is.
Yeah.
That's not what these guys are doing. And when they're running all of these places with all of these women, multiple locations, 80 different women, and you got to keep them in line and keep business on point and rub hands with shady ass people, I 100% believe that you put your hands on these people. You're not treating them like women. That's not how you view them. They are property.
Well, in their eyes, they are treating them like women, which is property, right?
Yes. But a scale that these guys wouldn't admit to publicly.
Yeah.
And so I just don't buy it now that I've seen a lot of the stuff that people posted that he deleted. But again, this is something that should go to court and that should be decided in that realm. But if you're asking me my personal opinion, like hell yeah, that's what I think happened.
I'm a little disappointed because I think my prediction that I made a while ago was that initially they're going to say it's all fake. And then when it starts to come out like what actually happened, they're going to say, well, that's not that bad, even if that is sex trafficking. And I've already hit that phase with some people. I was finally on a show with Jess Pearly things yesterday. And yeah, she was basically asking the question like, well, were they actually physically 100% for? Did somebody hold a gun to their heads and make them do the whole thing?
Sex trafficking is.
Yeah.
It works.
Yeah.
If there's no violence and it's not.
Then it's not a big deal. Yeah, and that's basically where they were at, where they were like, oh, well, if there wasn't a guy holding a gun to their heads forcing them to stay there, I'm like, bro, you're flying people to other countries that have never done sex work before, ever, to do sex work for you and steal like a whole bunch of their money doing it. She's like, well, if they weren't forced, and it's like, okay, even if they weren't forced, if that's not sex trafficking, what the do you think sex trafficking is? Like, what the fuck? Like, it has to be like Taken, where like girls are like drugged up on heroin or whatever the fuck, and they're like tied to a bed and like forced to people. Like, Jesus. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I think people's conception of sex trafficking is always the worst model, which is, again, they're kidnapped and they're abducted. That's the only idea that they have of it. So that's why they wouldn't define it. Thankfully, the law doesn't operate that way. So people engaged in this kind of exploitation should be charged. And I don't really care whether you view it as tremendous amount of fraud, whether you use it as theft. I don't really care. At the end of the day, the dude's a criminal.
Yeah.
And so charge him accordingly. Whether it's weird to me that people are sitting there like, well, it's not sex trafficking. Okay, well, it's a tremendous amount of fraud. He literally was telling these women they're going to get paid a certain amount and stole a bunch of their money. And
had a guide online on how to steal from them. They don't know their taxes. You get
and he admitted to it. And he admitted to it. So what are we even talking about? This dude's he's a fraudster. Like, he hired women under pretenses and paid them less. If that was you at your job, you would lose your mind. You would hate that employer for the rest of your life for stealing and then also profiting and then telling people how to steal from their employees. If that was you, you would 100% be pissed for the rest of your life at that person. Yeah. Now it's somebody else suffering, you just want to mitigate that. Be like, well, actually, bro, I've worked some shitty jobs or some mediocre jobs. If I found out my employer was taking half of my money or 30% of my money, I'd lose it. I'd lose it on that person.
Especially with the added thing of like, not just any money too, but these are girls that had never had a history in sex work and are now like doing cam work that's going to kind of sort of change their like careers, the trajectory of their lives forever. And they're getting stolen from on top of that. And they're in another country where they don't speak the language. And they're in some like, there's like so much shit where it's like, bro, in any other context, if this was Bill Clinton's like cam studio and he was doing this shit, bro, you guys would be losing your mind. If this was like the Epstein cam studio, you guys would be losing your mind. But because it's Andrew Tate, it's like, well, maybe the girls really liked him. They all 75 women were just loyal to him in the basement. It's like, bro, get the fuck out of here. It's so stupid. Oh my god.
The amount of like
simping,
obfuscation and simping
of deep throating, of throating Tate's cock. It's like actually shameless, dude.
I would also say this. One of the most surprising aspects about this whole thing for me has been when I hear people defending him and they're going all the way to pretend like nothing is happening. I'm like, bitch, I know if somebody ran a drug operation even half as large as what this guy was doing with sex trafficking, and the allegations came out that this dude was beating people up or he had to kill some people who were snitching on his operation, they wouldn't even hesitate to believe that. Yeah. But now that it's this dude in sex trafficking and he's running this huge operation, everybody want to act like nothing happened. Give me 2 seconds, I'll wrap.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, it's just fascinating that people who like constantly spend all day talking about how illogical women are and all this other stuff are running such crazy amount of interference, looking for the most unlikely. Do you guys really believe a pimp never put his hands on women, never treated them like property, or took them when they didn't want to? You really believe that? Then you don't know shit about pimping. And so I just have a hard time. To me, it makes the whole scene seem like much bigger grifters. If you just want to say, hey, I'll wait for the evidence, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. That's a reasonable stance for me if you want to go there. But anything else in regards to like, oh, he definitely didn't do it, or these bitches is lying. I'm like, bro, how could you say that? How could you say that with such certainty? The fact that you're not even willing to wait when the prosecutor is going this hard on this case is, to me, it screams a tremendous amount of bias and most likely a lot of grifting.
Yeah, that's what I always say that like I always have this dream that like I wish in another world like Kushner could have been like Hillary Clinton's son-in-law, or I could see like how people would act in another life, like if it was like the other side doing it. I feel like this is kind of like my ideal wish in terms of like you got a guy who's charged with a thing where women have come out, and it's like not only that, this feels like a Boondock skit. The guy's got like a whole fucking video series on how to pimp, how to seduce girls, how to get your other girl that you're already pimping to convince that girl to join your pimp shit, how to steal money from them. He's got a whole YouTube series on it, and people are still like, I don't know, it kind of seems like a setup to me. And it's like, are you fucking serious? Like, do we need his grandma there saying like, this is Andrew Tate, like I know him, like 100%, like it's actually the most unbelievable shit in the world. It's like, what else could there be? Yeah, I don't know, dude. It's wild shit to me.
I think he's also spoken about this openly. He says, I've had to do some illegal things. I had to do things I don't want out public, or I don't want the cops. I think that like, I remember watching the video where he's talking about police raid, and he had to flush a bunch of stuff down the toilet and do a bunch of illegal things in order to make his money because he didn't want the cops to find the stuff. But like he's already admitted to doing illegal stuff, things that are against the law, and you're surprised that he might be doing more illegal stuff that's against the law. Like, in what world? You know what I mean? Like, this dude is admitted to this stuff publicly, so how can you sit there and say he would never do this when he's already admitted to doing a number of crimes already? That's why I don't understand how they can be so strong. And then I realized it's not logic-based. I think being aligned with Andrew Tate is extremely profitable.
Yeah, for sure. The pimp, or not the pimp, the grift is like, there's so much money to be had. Yeah.
Right. Like, just if you say you're on his side, and you put those videos out publicly, like there's a lot of money to be had from like that kind of anti-establishment crowd, or people who want to believe like, well, the system is coming for Greta Thunberg or some other bullshit.
Yeah, there was Greta made the phone call. You guys are unhinged. Holy shit.
Yo, bro, even Patrick Bateman, whatever. Like, and I like that dude. I like him. Even he was like, well, the timing is very bizarre. I'm like, are you serious?
You mean this investigation been going on since April? Like, come on, he's already had his house raided before he tweeted Greta, okay, dude? Jesus.
It's almost as cringe as the people who thought the pizza box shit was true. Like, I was like, are you retarded? Do you really believe that the Romanian government doesn't know when people are coming in? Like they're not part of the EU, right? So as a result, you have to go through passport. You can't just he has a private jet. Even if you got a private jet, you can't just land and then pass everything. Like they keep a record of who.
Yeah, do you think they're like flying their jet into somebody's backyard? Like, bro, it's airspace in in Europe. Like, it's gotta be pretty carefully monitored. Like, holy shit.
I mean, you can literally track Elon Musk's jet anytime you wanted.
Yeah.
And now they think like Andrew Tate's jet is not trackable by the anti-terrorist, organized crime unit. It's bullshit. So there's a lot of people who are just doing a lot of political grandstanding where it's like, well, the Greta Thunberg, it was the left is the one who helped take. Like, just shut up. Everybody just shut up. But as far as me thinking he's guilty, yeah, I think so. If you're asking me personally. But that shouldn't matter in regards to how the legal proceedings happen.
Yeah, for sure. It should all play out. They need evidence. They should do everything by the book, of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
I appreciate that, Destiny.
All right, bye. Remember to hit that like and subscribe, and don't forget the notification bell so that my videos show up right in your feed.